By now you're probably tired of the Corvette as underdog story. For nearly 70 years, America's sports car traded on its value, affordable pricing that more often than not begat cheaply executed interiors and tacky design aimed at, let's face it, middle American old guys. It was a car designed in Michigan and built in Kentucky, and it looked the part, never mind it was capable of performance equal to or near some of the world's most pedigreed sports cars. Often head-scratching compromises didn't just happen to the Corvette like some act of God, like a flood or a tornado or plague of locusts, they were intentional. General Motors wanted the car to be attainable and able to swallow golf clubs. In other words, here's your world-beating power and handling, hope you can stand floppy seats and funny glue smells, and the S is huge because, 4. That paradigm took a hard left turn with the present C8 generation Corvette's arrival for 2020. The ultimate versions of the previous Corvette having reached the mountaintop of front-engine, rear-wheel drive performance, the time finally came to relocate the engine to a more exotic midship location. Chevrolet's engineers could finally unlock a new level of Vette capability. And they did. Even the base 455 horsepower C8 Corvette played ding-dong-ditch on supercars' doorbells. It finally had a price-appropriate interior, a lowish bar for a car that starts at $60,000, but a huge step forward nonetheless. We promptly named it our 2020 Car of the Year, declaring, never before has so much four-wheeled exoticism been attainable for so little money. It still fit a set of golf clubs in the back, but for the Corvette a page had begun to turn. With the new Corvette Z06 layering an additional 200-some HP, extra aerodynamic work, and a racier focus onto the Stingray's winning formula, let's throw all that value talk out the window and try a thought exercise. Dissociate the Z06 from decades of Corvette baggage, good and bad, and ask yourself, can a 670 horsepower mid-engine supercar possibly be considered an underdog? Should it be? In a testing session shared with the nearly $500,000 McLaren 765 LT Spider, the Corvette Z06 set our all-time figure-8 lap record, scooting the 500 feet between two 200-foot skid pad circles quicker than any vehicle we've tested, only to see its fresh record broken by a fraction of a second by that same McLaren. At 2.8 seconds to 60 miles per hour, the Corvette Z06 was quickest in this year's Poti field, while its 1.16G lateral grip and 95 footstop from 60 miles per hour were second best. The Chevy is no underdog, it's in benchmark territory for ultimate production car performance. That is but one big reason it is our 2023 Performance Vehicle of the Year. Engineering excellence. If you caught the second season of The White Lotus, HBO's deliciously voyeuristic descent into deeply conflicted vacationers' tortured stays at a Sicilian luxury resort, you probably caught yourself cranking the volume a little louder during the opening credits. The title song is perfectly sequenced with the cameras panning across scenes of a classical Renaissance-style fresco, the bouncy, operatic melody building in intensity before the bridge, when the viewer's gaze flits rapidly between suddenly disturbing and carnal details and the soundtrack unravels into mania, the music expanding and adopting shrieking urgency. The credit sequence's sensory overload is the closest mainstream analog to how the 2023 Chevrolet Corvette Z06 new 5.5-liter V8 engine introduces itself. Installed in what looks a lot like the regular Corvette with some carbon fiber doodads stuck on here and there, it begins its surprise when you thumb the starter button. The engine wakes with an unsettlingly loud crack before falling into a tense hum. Blip the throttle, and the revs leap like the digital tachometer had a seizure. That was only a toe's worth of gas. What if you press the pedal all the way? Confusing thoughts and questions begin flashing in your mind quicker than you can reconcile. This is a Chevy, right? But it's belting out a Ferrari's soundtrack, sending a tingle through the steering wheel and pedals as the revs climb. And climb. And just keep on climbing like the entirety of Italy's sports car heritage is free-soloing El Capitan. Your eyes dart around, looking for something grounding. Okay, there are heated and cooled seats. The OnStar emergency button sticks out like seeing one of those help, I've fallen and I can't get up, alarms for the elderly around a co-ed's neck at a midnight rave.
But that sound. What is happening?
Almost entirely on its own, the Z06 dual overhead cam 32-valve flat-plane crankshaft LT6 V8 elevates the Corvette to parity with the supercars whose performance it has long come close to matching. Its noise is as exotic as its spec sheet, and it is the most powerful naturally aspirated production V8 ever. Not for the price, not for an American car of all time. Developed alongside a competition version for Corvette Racing's Endurance Series contenders and with nary a pushrod, the 5.5-liter V8 spins up 670 horsepower at 8,400 RPM and 460 lb-ft at 6,300. Without the racing version's required restrictor plates, Z06 owners enjoy 150 horsepower more than Corvette Racing's pro drivers do. In a hint at the rest of the Z06 capabilities, 6 scavenging pumps for the dry sump oiling system ensure even pickup and can handle 1.16 g of uninterrupted lateral acceleration. Forged aluminum pistons weigh 8% less than those in the old Z06 LS7 V8, and the titanium connecting rods are 21% lighter, slashing rotating mass and helping the engine rev to its 8,600 RPM redline quicker than any other Corvette in history. Credit also goes to the flat-plane crankshaft, which spaces the rods at 180 degrees instead of 90, as in a crossplane design. You hear this change as much as you feel it, the new 14387-652 firing order wailing through a new center exit exhaust that makes a shorter run to the Vette's tail. Besides 21% less back pressure than the old Z06, the exhaust's parabolic reflector tips direct some of the V8's noise back at the cabin.
Performance of intended function.
We could run the engineering excellence category for the entirety of this story and not cover every last iota of the Z06's jaw-dropping tech advancements or even that engine, so we'll roll the rest into this one.
The Corvette Z06 simply performs the way a mid-engine supercar should.
Longtime Corvette strengths are retained and improved upon here.
In its tour drive mode, the Z06 suspension is all-day comfortable.
With the hatches battened down in track mode, it's stiffer but won't shake the head covers off those golf clubs. Yet here is a car capable of stopping from 60 miles per hour in 99 feet and generating 1.10 g on our skid pad on its weakest tires, Michelin Pilot Sport 4S rubber. Upgrading to the Z07 performance package and the available carbon fiber wheels wrapped in Pilot Sport Cup 2 rupees shortens the stopping distance to 95 feet and UPS the average skid pad grip to 1.16 g. That the Z07 equipped Z06 ripped up our figure 8 course neck and neck with the McLaren 765 LT Spider shows its abilities need no qualification.
Driver confidence and engagement. New category. Having learned a thing or two after our inaugural POTI evaluations last year, we decided safety is a difficult-to-back-up metric for certain sports cars and supercars that make up a good chunk of the POTI field. Safety organizations like NHTSA and IIHS seldom test all the vehicles we invite, so lacking crash data, evaluating safety regresses to a performative comparison of available features such as automated emergency braking, monitoring tech, and other safety aids. So for POTI, we've swapped our usual safety criterion for driver confidence and engagement. This can encompass passive safety, as a car you feel comfortable with at or near the limit will be a friendlier partner during an emergency maneuver, but mostly this category delivers a complementary dimension on performance of intended function. These are all sporty, performance-focused vehicles. How much so determines the outcome of that original category. How the driver perceives that functionality and can exploit it, this is our new driver confidence and engagement criterion. The Corvette nails this. Intimidating though it may seem, the Z06 is genuinely approachable in ways many other cars of this ilk, let alone past megapower Vettes, are not. Available grip and remember, there's a lot of it, seems boundless, goading you into ever higher cornering speeds. GM's Performance Traction Management (PTM) system offers precise adjustments to the electronic safety net. As you grow more comfortable with the car,
you can peel away layers of this backup bit by bit, or simply jump in and feel like a hero with PTM's transparent hand keeping you carbon fiber side up.
Advancement in design.
Most of the Z06 superficial design advancement is owed, really, to the 2020 Corvette Stingray and its switch to a mid-engine layout. The Z06 doesn't build much on the C8's visuals, though the $8,995 Z07 packages carbon fiber aerodynamic add-ons and the $9,995 carbon fiber wheels subtly amp up its curbside presence. Instead, the Z06 upgrades open up and take advantage of more of the new mid-engine format's promise. The weight balance swings to 40% front, 60% rear, from the old Z06 50/50. This has less of an effect on the Z06 total objective performance figures, which are only a hair or two better than the C7's, and more on their repeatability. Where before the old Z06 relied heavily on and eventually ran out of tire, the C8 beats less on its Michelins. You can lap this car over and over and see little performance drop-off, much as you can in Porsche's track specials.
And remember that record-setting figure 8 lap time? Layout aside, the other design advances are subtle.
Those optional carbon wheels push the boundaries of the type, with a daring one-piece, 5-spoke design leaving lots of unsupported airspace between the hub and the rim. In total, the lightweight will save 41 pounds and, believe us, sharpen the steering like a honing steel. You will notice a difference between the turn-in performances of Z06S with these wheels and without, and to be clear, steering the forged aluminum wheels doesn't drunkenly heave the Corvette's nose into corners. The rest of the carbon fiber trim pieces deliver up to 734 pounds of downforce at 186 miles per hour, 372 pounds more than the non-Z07, ensuring the Corvette keeps glued to the pavement at higher speeds and further upping its turn-in ferocity.
Efficiency.
Measuring efficiency by miles per gallon, the Z06 and its $2,600 and up gas guzzler tax looks of a different time, at least compared to a number of this year's Ploti contenders. Opt for the Z07 package's carbon aero pieces, and the EPA fuel economy estimates drop by 2 miles per gallon on the highway, drag, and 1 mile per gallon combined, to 19 and 14 miles per gallon. Every Z06 is estimated at only 12 miles per gallon in the city. Those figures trail a regular 6.2-liter Corvettes by several mpg. Yet they fall right in the ballpark of the McLaren 765 LT's 14/18/16 city/highway/combined. Ditto the Lamborghini Huracan's 13/18/15 figures. Point is, it's on the same level as other vehicles of this type and this performance. And, hear us out, is it not efficiency that allows the Z06 to make 670 horsepower without turbos or superchargers, beating the also naturally breathing Lambo's 630 ponies? Or that it turns gasoline and air into a crescendo of decibels as well as or better than the greatest non-turbo engines in history, Porsche's Mesder design flat 6 and the 911 GT3 included? You won't ever need to plug it in or worry you won't make it where you're headed because it'll run out of battery, either. We make this backward-looking argument not in ignorance of technology's advance but rather in celebration of what the Z06 5.5-liter V8 achieves. This is an era-capping engine, perhaps the last and likely the best naturally aspirated American V8 ever. It's earned a dig or two at EVs and their infrastructural hurdles, not to mention their utter lack of thrilling noise. Value. Does all of this unqualified praise have you feeling unblued like a delaminated sliver of Chevy's finest fiberglass? Need buts or a it's good for the price to feel like the natural order of things remains intact? We have none to offer. The Z06 tosses aside the value crutch leaned on by its predecessors. Sure, it is objectively less expensive than, say, a space shuttle or the McLaren 765 LT or Lamborghini Huracan, blue-chip, 600 HP plus mid-engine supercars that also competed for this same performance vehicle of the year nod.
That isn't why it won. But because this is an of the year category, here are some numbers. The Z06 Coupe starts at $110,290 including its guzzler penalty. The drop top is $7,500 more. Pile on every performance option, which you can shovel onto even the entry-level 1LZ trim level, including the Z07 package, which includes Brembo carbon ceramic brake rotors, and required carbon fiber aero package. Add $1,000 for bare finish, plus the carbon fiber wheels, again, add $2,000 for unpainted, and Michelin Pilot Sport Cup Tour tires, and the cheapest Max Performance Z06 runs $138,175 all in. A base 911 GT3? $172,450, which is almost 10 grand more than the fairly loaded Z06 3LZ we tested. The McLaren 765 LT, which this Corvette effectively matches in certain performance parameters despite weighing more and making 85 fewer HP? Try $389,700 before options, which took our Poti contender to $490,810. You get the idea. Chevy could charge more. For the first time ever, a Corvette teams with the kind of special sauce that makes the car seem worth it regardless of price, a sense of total desirability, the feeling nothing was left on the table. Last year, the Porsche 911 GT3 took home our Performance Vehicle of the Year award after putting on a masterclass in that sort of gotta-have-it magic. How fitting that the Corvette, the 911's longtime nemesis, should break through and take over the award by leveraging the same strength.